for it to do. All right, guys, welcome back to Black Coffee and Crime. We missed y'all. We've been gone. We have adulted and gotten lives and done stuff, and a lot of stuff been happening. So that's why we took such a long hiatus. And, given the things that were going on in the world, sometimes you need a break from all of this, and it's been too much. So I think our last show was in May. Our last recorded show was in May. And since then, the entire world has fallen the fuck apart. Like, had the Ukraine been invaded at that time?
I don't think so.
Had Roe v. Wade been overturned?
No.
So yeah, it's been a lot. One of the most tragic school shootings ever occurred in June. So we'll talk about that. But right now, we just want to play catch up. So this is what we're gonna do. For people who have missed us dearly, like we missed you all, or people who are new, the way this goes is we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. Typically, we will have a subject and go from there, but sometimes when the spirit moves you, it moves you, and you talk about what you just go from there. It's very impromptu. We don't have a script. We cuss. Well, I cuss. They kind of just laugh at it. If we say anything that is offensive to you or triggering to you, exit. Just get out, come back later. We don't want anybody to be traumatized by what we say. All the information that we have, we don't make this up. This is found on Beyonce's internet. And so even if we misspeak, let us know in the comments. Be respectful. We have Instagram, which is Black Coffee Crime, Facebook, which is Black Coffee Crime, and of course our YouTube page, which is also Black Coffee Crime, where this episode will be posted. So it's a little different from before. We used to do church announcements. But we're not going to do that anymore. I mean, if the spirit moves, the spirit moves. And if we have something to say, we'll say it. We'll also, for future episodes, we'll be talking a lot more about films and crime films, documentaries, and things like that. So if you have a interesting documentary that you've seen, let us know, because on our next show, we're definitely going to talk about a very interesting documentary because it's just fucking outrageous. But today we're just gonna kind of play catch up over what happened over the next few months. I'm Brandy E. We've got Brandy W. and Jackie. All right. So where do we want to attack first? What over the last couple of months, what stories have just thrown you for a loop and just really impacted you guys the most?
Definitely Uvalde. That was extremely disturbing. I think the split reaction, which I wasn't expecting between the Roe and Wade. I really wasn't expecting that big of a split. But definitely Uvalde. It was just so sad.
Roe versus Wade kind of, even though I'm well out of my childbearing years, that pissed me off a little bit. And I guess
not everybody.
The lack of accountability of the police and their lack of action post shooting.
Yeah. I would say those same two stories, especially Uvalde. It seems like that was one school shooting that could have had less tragic results, because they were there so fast. They had there were so many signs, there were so many indications, and they just ignored all of it, and it's complete shit show. Roe versus Wade was a surprise only because I don't think we were thinking about it like that. Like it was just a foregone conclusion that this is law, like abortion is legal. It's as long as it's, at a certain, before a certain month in the gestational period. But now you've got some really quacks coming out of the woodwork with,
I don't think the pro-choice, not pro-choice, the
pro-lifers.
pro-lifers were ready either. Because now they went and changed all these laws, and they they're going to have to play catch up, because you can't just outright ban everything. And then, because I was watching something the other day where it was talking about North Carolina, you can
put a pregnant woman to death
to save a fetus, and that
to
means
save the fetus.
the police, the doctor, the nurse, like you can kill a whole person to protect a fetus.
Well,
A whole breathing, living person to protect
who is the host of the fetus?
a fetus that can't live outside the womb yet.
Right. So I've always thought this, and y'all can question my pregnancy mind, but I've always thought, and it is scientifically true, that a baby is a parasite. A baby is a whole parasite, and as a mom, you are the host. And up until a certain point, the parasite, the baby, cannot survive without you. And so their whole argument is so like, did y'all go to school at all? Ever? Like,
Because if you kill the mother for trying to get an abortion, you're killing the baby as well.
So your pro-life stance doesn't really work. And then there's pseudo-scientific. There was one, I was watching Rachel Maddow on CSNBC, and she featured this politician who in chambers asked a doctor about, like, I think it was a colonoscopy and how you do a colonoscopy, and how they drop the little camera down your throat and they look at it and whatever. This was to tell if a woman was pregnant or not. Okay, this was to prove whether or not a woman was pregnant. He asked, well, could that same method be applied to verifying a pregnancy? And she's like, no, because
it's not connected to the mouth.
Right, it doesn't go in your vagina. Like, your stomach and your vagina are not connected.
Even if it went through the vagina, it would have to go through the cervix, and you can't go through the cervix.
Like, these people do not read. They somehow that they've been elected with these crazy ideas, and it just gets worse. And there was the story of the little girl from Ohio, I believe it was 10, who had been sexually assaulted, and she got pregnant. The doctors in Ohio would not perform the abortion because they had to go through so much red tape
because of the law.
Because of the law there. So she had to go to another state. There were so many politicians who were like in denial, like that's never happened, this doesn't exist. And lo and behold,
well, that it was a straight out lie.
That it was a lie. The story is true. And so there are so many exceptions to this. I personally, when I was younger, I will say this, when I was much younger, in my teenage and 20s, didn't believe in abortion, like don't do it, whatever. But as a grown-ass woman,
happened to me.
As a grown-ass woman, make the decision that is best for you. And I might still not agree with it, but I'm not against it. Like for myself, but it would have depended on the situation. So I'm not going to condemn somebody for making the best decision for them. I'm not, because it doesn't affect me. It's not my business. And I think we have a growing problem in this country of not minding our damn business.
Yeah, do.
Whether it comes to abortion, gay marriage, this is not your business. And as far as these pro-lifers go, y'all not trying to adopt none of these kids.
Exactly.
Y'all not trying to subsidize childcare, health care,
Anything outside
Um,
the womb.
Services, once that child is born, y'all are done.
Yeah,
Y'all are done.
I was watching a TikTok and this guy was conducting an experiment for people who were saying, oh, abortions was so horrible and everything. So what he asked them was, oh, okay, so how many children have you adopted?
Mhm. What was the
Everybody said zero.
consensus?
Nobody had nothing to say. He said, okay, well then how is it that you can stand firm in regards to someone else's decision if you're not making a conscious decision to help them by taking the children off their hands? So what I don't understand. They're like, well, you just shouldn't do it. He said, well, that's not gonna work. Like you,
Yeah.
you just can't say. So they just went back and forth because they just literally had no response other than you just shouldn't do it.
Or
Well, why are
the
you
famous
helping?
response
What do you-
that no one can find, but everyone is sure it's there. It's in the Bible. And then you ask them, where? Who said that?
Yeah.
They can't find it, but they're so sure that it's in there. As far as I know, there is a sanction to abort if you believe that your wife has been unfaithful. There's a couple of references to that. Okay. The Bible is full, and I'm not trying to ruffle any religious feathers here, but it's in there. The Bible is full of fathers killing their children. It's full. I mean, we got a big famous one that everybody knows. So the argument about it's in the Bible, it's really not. It doesn't stick. It doesn't. But it is. I don't want to get y'all religious folks on me today because y'all be talking about I ain't got no church home.
That you
We ain't
don't
gonna
have.
start. Yeah, we ain't
You
gonna
don't
start.
have.
We ain't gonna start being about talking about me in no church home.
I was like,
But-
let's not do it because y'all should go get us.
You know what? I'm gonna take it. If y'all tell me I ain't got no church home, it is what it is. I ain't got one. But it is kind of scary. Roe versus Wade is scary to me because what it means to other laws that they're attacking: interracial marriage, gay marriage, the right to privacy, because that's all this is about, is right to privacy. And that's what's scary to me. I'm not in an interracial relationship, and I'm not gay, but if I was, I would want my partner to have this, the same rights as a heterosexual couple, So it's really scary the way that the Supreme Court is going and making laws based on personal morals rather than the law. So that's scary. And let's see, we talked about Uvalde. 10 days before Uvalde, though, there was the Buffalo shooting in Buffalo, in a grocery store. Dude drove 3 hours to go to this grocery store in a predominantly Black neighborhood and shoot 10 people.
Only Black people.
Yeah, he was online.
The reason I mention that is because he did run into a white cashier and literally said, I'm sorry. That's why I said only Black people.
This is a crazy, crazy world. I was talking
And
to my
recorded
daughter.
himself.
Yeah,
Make sure
the
he
entire time.
recorded his whole transaction from the parking lot all the way and stuff.
It's just that, and these were mostly elderly people, completely defenseless. Because who goes to a grocery store besides white people? Who goes to the grocery? And I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Fully armed, ready to go to battle over a roasted chicken. Like, you go to the grocery store because you think that this is a safe place. Hell, we think church is a safe place, but we know that's not true. But we go to these places because we think, I'm just gonna go. This is the most innocent place I could be. There's no possibility. It doesn't even enter your mind when you walk into Publix or Kroger, Tom Thumb, Walmart, maybe Walmart. But Walmart's different. When you walk into the store, that there's a possibility that you won't walk out, or that you'll see something that will, change you forever. And so it's really sad that the whole of America, especially, I mean, Black folks, Hispanics, other people of color have always been on edge, but even so, more so now, because it seems like people just have a license to kill. And it's scary as hell,
And there is,
the license to kill.
yes.
Yeah, it's sad. And that's what that looks like. And, pointing back to Uvalde, if, it's like if it's people of color, they're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna do nothing.
Cause you tell me how mom was able to run in there while the place is surrounded by cops, filled with cops, and able to get her kids and other kids out of there with no problem. Or how there's video coming out of how they were standing in the hallway texting and looking through their phones and making sure these things, setting up appointments with their families, where there is literally a man in there killing children. We just won't be of importance in certain majority of situations.
And then that's the mother that they arrested. They held her for 45 minutes or something like that. And she was able to convince them to take the handcuffs off. Then she runs in and gets the kids out. And this is really bad because this is how reactivated the whole assault weapon ban. The weapon that he used should only be used in war. Civilians should not own this. And I don't care what people say. There is no other purpose for these weapons but to kill, and kill in such a way that is horrific. It took them days to fully identify those kids because they had no fucking faces. That's horrible. The little girl who had to be identified by her shoes. Like, parents sent their kids to school that day, and 3 days later they don't. At that point, what has happened, but they can't identify them. That's how bad it is. Like, there's no open casket. There is no final goodbye for these parents. And then the one teacher, there was two stories that just broke my heart out of all of this. One of the parents, he was a EMT, and he heard about it, and he goes to the school, and all he wants to do is help whoever comes out, and and one little girl, clothes were full of blood, or everything was bloody, and he's asking her, are you okay? And he's checking her, and she says, no, I'm fine. Like, I wasn't shot, but my friend was. He shot my friend. He asked her what the friend's name was. It was his daughter. It was his baby, her best friend, who shielded her. Like, the little girl who was shot shielded her and was killed. And he said that, one of the hardest things was for him to not show what he just heard on his face so that this little girl would not be further traumatized. That was horrible. And then also the teacher, one of the teachers who passed away, 3 to 4 days later, her husband had a heart attack and died from grief.
Yes.
I was done. Like, and for people to still defend the right to carry a weapon like that, yes, we have the right to carry, but something like that is ridiculous. And for people to defend that police department, it's just crazy. Like, we have no value for life other than than other folks. But if you look like us, they don't care.
And you're in the womb.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You got to be in the womb to be safe.
Yep. But apparently not in North Carolina, because they'll kill you. Like, when people write these bills and these laws, is there nobody who says,
that don't make sense.
That don't work. Like,
It sounds dumb.
you can't kill the woman who's pregnant, because then the
We're trying to
baby
get an
dies too.
abortion.
Because then the baby dies. Like, what y'all gonna do with the baby? I don't get it. One guy was saying that you should transplant an ectopic pregnancy into another person. If the mother dies, you just transplant.
We don't even, I mean, they've talked about uterus transplants, but they haven't even done a uterus transplant yet. So how are you going to implant an ectopic pregnancy into someone else's
Body.
Right, because those kind of pregnancies are 100% fatal.
I mean,
either the
I know they
child
put eggs in the
or the
eggs.
child and the mom.
Yeah, so if the mom dies, you can't get the. And there was
But-
one woman who nearly died from ectopic pregnancy because they couldn't intervene until the lady was pretty much almost dead.
Yeah, until she was like had sepsis.
But that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to go back. It was so quick that they just didn't think of. Well, first of all, they're not doctors, but they weren't able to think of like logical things. Like,
No, and no one is checking
No.
them. That particular lady, they said that they still found fetal tissue, so that's why they couldn't terminate. But like, she's already terminated the pregnancy.
Mhm.
Her body has terminated the baby dies. In all cases of those type of pregnancies, it's 100% fatality. And now you make this woman walk around with a dead baby in her womb because there's fetal tissue. No shit, Sherlock. And then she almost dies, and then you do something. Like,
That's crazy.
I just don't understand. It's just crazy. It's just, it's a whole ass mess. All right, we got more to talk about because there's a lot of shit that done happened in this world. Brandy, you want to talk about the theatrical, spectacular show that is called the January 6th hearings. And I hear it's like the best primetime TV. Like, I haven't watched it because I just can't see this mess. I read about it, kind of see some clips about it, but I hear this is like the best TV in a long time.
so I haven't watched one all the way through. I usually get the highlights but the other day I had time. So what was killing me, like I'm watching this, right? And so I'm like, what is Fox News doing? Like, are they showing this? Because it's a lot, not only are they showing what happened, but they're using Fox News footage and Fox News reporters saying what was actually happening at the time and how they're like, oh, I can't believe this. This is horrible. So I go to Fox News and it's Sean Hannity's hour. And he's talking about how, Trump is the most persecuted, this and that. It's a bunch of lies and gossip and all of this. And so I flipped back and they're actually showing texts from people who text Trump at that time, or, people that were in the Oval during that time. His son telling him, basically, this is a shit show and, stop this, tell him to get on TV, stop this. Hannity, stop this. He needs to get on TV. He needs to say something, basically saying this is horrible, all this stuff. All these people, and I'm like, Hannity, you don't remember, like, because it was Antifa and everybody out there.
Yeah,
Antifa.
BLM and Antifa.
So, yeah. I was like, this is crazy. They're using your text. They're using your sacred Fox News.
Mhm.
And how upset that these people were that all this was going on Fox News. But then I turn to Fox News and they're talking about how this is lies and gossip and all this stuff.
You do know that we screenshot stuff.
Yeah, like we see you, right?
We saw
Right.
this. There's, in the middle of the hearings, the congressional hearings, there are people finally being sentenced based on their, previous convictions for this. There's one lady, I believe she's like 69 years old. She has breast cancer, and they sentenced her to like some prison time, a couple months, I think. and she's in the car and she's crying, and people are like, you're going to send this woman with breast cancer to prison. That's the same woman with breast cancer who rode her ass up to the Capitol building. Like, you don't get the sympathy now, sis.
And we send her to prison.
Right. And people talking
Yes.
about how they've lost their friends, people are harassing them, they've lost their businesses, they've lost their home. What's your point? What's your point?
Trump said he was trying to go up there, but the Secret Service wouldn't let him. Like, can you imagine what would have happened if Trump actually had gone up there? Like, how wild and crazy these folks
It would have been
gotten?
worse. It would have gotten worse, way worse.
It was a mess. I mean, I think on January 6th, someone called me. I don't remember who. It had to be a family member. Maybe it was you, Brandy. I don't remember.
It was
But,
me,
like,
because we were on the phone when it was going down.
Yeah,
I was in
like-
Walgreens parking lot waiting for my medication.
Like, turn on the news.
Yeah.
And I was like, because Brandy knows I don't watch the news anymore. But I was like, what is happening? And then I was just standing around like, is this for real? Like, are you kidding me?
Well, I was watching TV and it just started popping up alerts everywhere. And then they were like, we have live footage. And they just automatically switched it to what was happening because I wasn't watching like a movie channel. And I was thinking, what the hell? What are these white people? What are they doing? That's literally what I was thinking. Like, what are they doing? Like, what are these white people doing? And then
They
as
would
it
have killed.
played
They would
out,
have killed Pence if they had got to him. They were
Oh, yeah.
so riled up.
Yes.
They would have killed that man.
yes,
Yeah.
they would have.
Yeah.
I was
They
thinking,
would
like,
have.
are you serious? Is this really happening?
Had they gotten contact with anyone in Congress or the Senate, they would have killed them.
Yes, they would have.
They were going into offices that the general public in the basement, that the general public doesn't even know. They don't even do the tours to these offices. How would you know where these offices are? How would you know?
Insiders.
How would you know the location of the ballot box? And
Insiders.
who had the, I mean,
And I
It
just
ju-
want to know what happened with the Blue Lives Matter.
because
Ooh,
they killed some cops. Blue lives only matter when the cops involved
mm-hmm.
are involved with a shooting with a Black or brown person.
Uh-huh.
And they have to be defended, or they have to take responsibility for their actions. That's when blue lives matter. That's when you can justify the shooting. But blue lives don't matter. Cops don't matter when they are trying to stop you from your agenda.
They had
cops-
some of them there for that hearing, because they're taking a break until September, and we're wondering if Steve Bannon is gonna if he's gonna give testimony, seeing that he just got convicted for not giving testimony.
Well, at this point, I think if he's convicted for what is it? Was it obstruction of justice or just
something like congressional
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
at this point? Why? You've already been convicted.
That
What-
fool was
you know-
smirking too when he got found guilty, but he ain't gonna be smirking when he in that cell
You sure
Yeah.
not.
with his old ugly
But
self.
all this is proof. All these texts,
Mm-mm. No.
is just proof that they knew what was happening and they knew what was going on. And like most things, you can't control the crowd. You know what I mean? You can't control a mob. You give them an idea, it germinates, and you can't control them. And this is what happened. Trump really went crazy in the back of that damn limo. The Secret Services members of the Secret Service have deleted their text messages. Why would the Secret Service, tasked with the protection of the president, delete messages from government phones?
And we might never figure out what they're gonna say, because a Department of Homeland Security's like, it's a breach. So we may never know what the reason they deleted them, or what was in them in the first place.
This is a whole ass mess. And I just, for the life of me, I cannot understand how as a non-sitting president, how he is not in jail right now
I
for
just don't
inciting
get
an
it.
insurrection.
Don't see. I don't
And
understand.
people,
And he's trying to run again. You know,
yeah,
if he gets in again, it's over. Like it is over. Like,
I,
you know, the old, you know, your parents, old folks always saying this is the last days. Like
we,
that is literally
I
the
would
last days.
believe at this point that we
Yes,
would be
literally.
in our last days. And to be honest with you, I implore, when Trump first got into office, I was telling people, go get your passport. Anybody that could hear me, I was saying, go get your passport, because he's going to make it impossible for you to get one. The red tape to get a passport once he was elected was ridiculous.
There we gonna be sneaking into Mexico.
I'm gonna say it again, right? I'm gonna say it again now. Get your passport. If you never use it, get your passport, keep it current. I told my daughter, my mom, my significant other, like, I'm gonna move to Mexico. Like, for real. Like, it's close enough for me to get home to see y'all. But I'm about to be out this piece. Like, it's not friendly. There's really no country on the planet that is for Black people. Besides, in continental Africa and some places in South America are accepting. But there's really not a safe place for us, because everyone has mimicked what America does and America's sentiments for us. But if there is a safe place, start thinking about it. Like this,
It's gonna be straight up Wild West if that fool gets back in there again.
I literally have been thinking about and which I think I've sent Brandy a few like videos. Like I have literally been considering leaving. It's just too much. And it's just gonna get worse. And at this point, you don't
start
have
thinking
much
about
say
where you can move in the Caribbean.
in this country.
Start thinking
No,
about.
I'm moving.
That's why I want to go.
With that, with one of them forgotten tribes.
In the Caribbean.
No, you know
Or
where that
down
old
in the
boy.
swamp.
You remember when that old boy went to go evangelize and they killed him before he could even.
In New Guinea. That was Michael Rockefeller.
Yeah, I'm about to go holler at them folks, because
Yeah,
they don't play when it comes to national security.
So don't.
listen, the one place that you will not go though is the Sentinelese Islands.
Yeah, don't go
India.
there.
Don't go there.
They're gonna
Don't
kill
go.
you.
They don't want.
They don't even want you there.
Well, I
They
ain't
don't
messing around
want.
with India anyway, because they animals is off. The animals is bugs. So I ain't even trying to mess with the folks that these
We
animals.
forgot the animals in India. Let me tell you. Okay, so we talked about months ago. We talked about the monkeys that had
Throw them.
Killed
They
them
still
dogs.
doing it. They still
kidnapped
doing
the
it.
dogs and throw them off the roof.
They
So
still throwing kids off the roof.
the elephant, now they throwing babies. So
Yeah.
the elephant story a couple months ago.
Oh yeah.
People the news didn't know that Black folk, we real investigate. They said that an elephant had stomped a woman to death.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
It is funny. It's an ironic funny. Stomped a
Girl,
woman
if
to
that ain't
death.
karma, I don't know
Exactly.
what other definition of karma there is.
And then went to her funeral 125 miles away. Took her off the funeral pyre and stomped the shit out of her again. If I tell you, that is when that elephant said, it's on sight wherever I see you.
And
No
the
matter
reason,
what.
because she threw rocks at the mama elephant and the one that stomped the hell out of her to try to what's the word?
Allow the poachers.
Yeah.
To allow the poachers to get her baby.
Oh, that's what happened? I never knew what happened.
She was throwing rocks at the mama to distract her while the poachers got the baby. And she remembered that fool. She said, you the one.
Which and
said,
elephants have the best memory. Like they can remember everything for years.
Yes, they're very intelligent. So I was on Twitter, and when something happens, Twitter be on fire. So everybody on Twitter was like, "What that lady do to that elephant?" It was never the elephant's fault.
No,
Never. Never the elephant's fault. Everybody was like,
Because
what did that lady
if you
do?
had stomped her one time, you could be like, oh dang, like
That
they
was a
got
tragic
stomped. You know,
accident.
people moving into these elephants, you know, habitat. But no, that fool stomped her out twice. So we knew she
Wait, he drove to the funeral. That's just like you got a mortal enemy, and you
You go-
drive to the funeral to tip the casket over.
It was like the first wasn't enough. It wasn't
was the
enough.
lady already on fire? If they already burnt the body,
They had her on top of the funeral pyre.
so they hadn't lit it yet.
The elephant needed to
Yes,
stop a
it was
mud
lit.
Oh,
hole.
so that thing went up
And
there and
hey.
got her with the trunk in the flames.
Wasn't
Picked
enough.
her up out of the flames and
Stomped the hell out of her.
Stop the mud hole.
definition. Said, I
That
told
was an
you.
example to everybody else. That was example to everybody else. You watch yourself.
Amazing. It was amazing. And when
That's
the
extraordinary.
story really came out of what the lady had done to the elephant, everybody was like, "Look, there you go. There you go." Black people, I can tell you what, for the most part, we never blame the animal.
No.
We never blame it. If somebody gets eaten by a tiger, what they
What
do
they
to that
do?
tiger?
What they
Because
do
you
to
shouldn't have
the
been around no tigers in the first
Should
place.
have been around no tiger. When they had to kill Hammurabi, man, that was the most tragic shit in the world right there. Why you kill him?
Yeah, what is it? Why
What did he
him?
do? What he do? He is in his habitat where y'all stole him and put him in a cage, and somebody got in his cage, and now he got that.
You killed him, and now his mama had to plant his fume
Yeah.
by
And
herself.
Now in India, the monkeys. This happened like last week. It was a news story about some monkeys who had kidnapped a child, a 3-month-old baby, and I think they threw the baby off of something. And a month before that, it was a wee baby, and small, very small infant, like a newborn. They had tried to attempt to kidnap, but the baby ended up dying anyway because the people were struggling with the monkeys trying to get the baby, so the baby was injured during the tug of war, basically. And as tragic as it is, my first thought was,
What they do?
damn monkeys.
That's what I said. My thought, what did they do to the monkeys now? Like, what are
Did
they
y'all
doing?
kill one of the monkeys' babies in the troop? What did y'all do to the monkeys?
Mhm.
So moral of the story is, when you leave the United States, don't go to India. Especially as Americans, we think we're entitled to everything. Don't go over there. Don't go.
Respect the animals. Like, you don't want to do no animal cruelty of anaphos because it ain't the government that's coming after you.
It's the animal.
No, it's the animals. There was here in the States, there was a lady who got mauled by a bear. I guess she had spent some hours observing the bear recently, and then the bear came back at night, opened her tent, and mauled the shit out of her.
Mhm.
Mind your business. Mind your business.
Listen, my daughter wants to go to Yosemite, right? She wants to go to the national park. She wants to
Of course she
do some
does.
exploring and all this stuff. And I was
Better
like,
hurry up
listen,
before it burns down.
I said, listen, don't go up there because you're gonna be like Grizzly Man, and we know what happened with them. Don't do it. Like, you want to see the bears? I understand you don't like the zoo, but look, watch National Geographic. Don't mess you.
Yeah, you in their habitat. You in their space. Like, don't do
But
it.
she all light skinned and big and bright, smiling.
She's so cute.
Just a target. Just a
She's
target
so
for
cute.
anything.
With her big old
Definitely
head,
a target.
Yeah. So they'll be like, oh, what is
doing yoga and stuff, all in the beers.
all by
Well,
the bears then?
A little cute flower child over there. Hi.
Yeah.
Just take her little pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell her now.
I don't want nobody even driving me around in a Jeep. You know how you see them people on
No.
the safaris and they in the Jeep? I don't even want to be in the Jeep because I don't
And the
really know how
animals-
fast them
The animals get in
can
there.
run.
The
animals get in those
big
Jeeps.
cats jump in there. There was like one I saw, and we are so off subject, but there was like one that I saw where the lion was like right here, had jumped in the Jeep, and the lion was like looking behind over his shoulder, I would have lost all control of my bodily functions. All of them.
Jeep ain't
That-
even fast enough.
And I saw a cheetah get in one, and it was still like the cheetah was a tad bit aggressive, but not aggressive enough to bite. And the whole time the tour guide was like, everybody remain calm, don't panic. That cheetah was sitting on that woman's chest right over here. She was just like, are you taking
I mean, what do
pictures?
you do? You
I
can't
was
jump
like,
out the Jeep and you can't stay in the Jeep.
And he was like stretched out, like stretched arms right
That's-
here, feet over there. And she's sitting here excited, talking about, honey, are you taking the pictures?
Listen, let me tell you, there's nothing
Oh, he
there's
will
nothing in
attack you.
nothing in Africa that you can outrun. I mean, nothing. You can't outrun the damn bees. You can't outrun the cats, rhinos, elephants. Wild dogs will chase you from one end of the Nile Delta to the other. Hyenas. Hell, even the secretary birds will chase the shit out you. Like, just don't go. Just stay out. I want to go to Africa, and it would be beautiful to see the savannas and all of that. But I believe in God's will, and maybe it's a bad day for that animal. And
Just fly me over.
yeah, let's do a helicopter run because I can't do it. I
Don't
ain't
put me
gonna
in no
be able to do it.
rinky dinky boat on the Nile. I don't.
First of all, I'm not going on a boat in the Nile because there are alligators there who have been there since the beginning of time.
You think they're gonna bite
So-
the bottom of the whole of the boat out?
I'm just saying that I'm American enough to have some Caucasian blood, and so they probably recognize me and think that, oh, they're American. She might be white. I'm gonna eat her. No, I'm not gonna do it. Mm-mm. Nope, they ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm not getting in the water where there's alligators, which is the reason why I'm not going to Florida, because there's gators down there and there's crocs over there in Africa. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
And there's gators in Texas, and apparently
And I ain't
Yes, they are.
And I don't get in the water here neither. When the Trinity get too high, I'm not even trying to go downtown. Like,
Because you don't know what Trinity. It might be alligator there.
there
Just
are
don't go down there.
gators. It's either an actual alligator or a gator gar. Either one is gonna eat me. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking 20, 35, 45, none of that. I'm not doing it.
Because when we went to Mexico and we're swimming in the ocean, and let me tell you how happy them little dolphins be. Mexico, they are real close. And I told my sister, I'm not that person to go and be like, hi, Mr. Dolphin. That's not me. I don't
See,
want the
I
dolphin.
don't I don't believe that dolphins are very, very what's the word I'm looking for? They're
Horny.
very deceptive. Yeah, they're that too. But they're very
I
deceptive
love
because
dolphins. So.
they look so cute. If we remember Flipper and shit, dolphins are the most evil thing
They have a
in
lot
the
of teeth.
ocean.
They have a lot of teeth.
That's why I can't do
Dolphins,
it.
dolphins. Now we're talking like we're National Geographic, but we watch that. So dolphins, and this is
No.
criminal. So this fits the show. Dolphins will flip over a shark, will swim around it. They're smart enough and flip that bitch over so that it can't breathe. They ain't gonna eat the shark. They just
I know.
do it.
I know we're real far from subject, but I was on TikTok and it's a story about this man who had a sexual relationship with a dolphin. Did you go watch that short story? I had to go
I
watch
did
it.
not see it, but dolphins have sex just like we
Brandy,
do, just
No,
because they
You gotta watch
no.
this man talk about his relationship.
It's a sexual relationship with the dolphin. They
well,
had
dolphins love to have sex.
Not with humans.
Who said?
Well, humans shouldn't have sex with the dolphin.
Who said?
baby,
That's
he-
Orgasm is an orgasm,
he said-
apparently.
Matter of
That's
fact, he referred
bestiality.
to it as making love to her. It was because they both loved each other. Therefore,
Who's crazy, the dolphin or the man? Clearly not the dolphin.
The man is crazy. The man is for sure.
Dolphin said an orgasm is an orgasm.
You
I
know
mean,
what?
you can't argue with that because it's the truth.
I can't. We're done here.
He ain't said nothing about love.
We're done. Dolphins.
You can't even argue with that because it's true.
Right.
I mean, it's
I'm
not,
writing
Dolphins
this
is
down.
not wrong.
Don't mention dolphins.
I'm just saying.
We can't talk about dolphins on the show because
It's still crazy. You still need to go watch the documentary.
I mean, the
Yeah.
man's crazy. It ain't the Dolphins' fault.
not
No,
the
no, no.
dolphins, but I'm just
No,
saying
no, no.
dolphins are very deceptive because they look nice and they cuddly and they make the noise and but they're trying to kill you.
Or have sex with you.
They are devilfish. They're trying to kill you.
Yeah, they definitely nasty.
And I think how do you have sex with a dolphin without drowning?
Didn't they
He-
jump out the water?
Did you watch the documentary? Because I can tell you how he did it.
Thing.
Well, you need to send me the documentary.
You know he didn't get under the water. He turned the dolphin sideways.
Well, you know when
Mm-mm.
they be swimming
Like
with the
a
dolphins,
teeth. It was a
they be
teeth.
humping on the on the people.
I
That's
have
the
not
dolphin,
had
that's the
dinner
man.
yet. I have not had dinner, and I don't want this to be my weight loss plan.
Okay. Sorry.
Dolphins
No.
eat dolphins.
I'm just telling you.
They-
That in the story.
They like to get some too. Matter of fact, they like it more than we like it.
That's one of the reasons I won't see a dolphin because they're really freaky and they're
I
little,
love dolphins though. That's
I
my
just
favorite
can't do
mammal.
it. Wrapping your weenie around me and stuff, I can't deal with that emotion or even think that could possibly happen to me because they have a
You know
reputation.
you want
of
somebody to
being-
wrap their weenie around you, Jackie.
Ew. We're talking about dolphins, not people. I don't want no damn dolphin weenie around me. What the hell? Don't be put that in the atmosphere. You got this on the internet. People gonna be like, Jackie like dolphin weenie. Hell fucking no, I don't. Don't listen to BW. She's on something.
You was just talking about how you want somebody to wrap their weenie around you.
No, we're talking about dolphins. No.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it's like,
Listen,
but
we
that
gotta.
atmosphere.
Oh God, we gotta bring it back in because I can't continue. This is too much. Oh my God. I was grossed out by the dolphin weenie wrap, and now Brandy done stepped in on this. and
Then
I
ruined the
just-
whole moment.
I
It's
can't.
completely
I
gross.
don't know why I saw like a lasso around somebody's leg or something, but
Yeah, but see, you know what? Brandy is famous for twisting something while we're talking about it
Lies,
and
lies.
making it into something
Lies.
completely different. So if you've never seen the show
lies
before,
that are
you will see Brandy turning
lies.
something around. And then she makes us react to it, and then we say things that we normally wouldn't say because she's like the episode we were talking about Ed Gein and Albert Fish.
and you said
And-
the field greens and what you say, the field onions.
Field onion. He had it with some field onion. I do believe he had scrotum and field onions, and then also and then the first time we got in trouble was when we was talking about that man from Oklahoma who had eaten his neighbor with some potatoes.
Yeah.
This fool was like, but did he have gravy or did it would have been better with some rice? And we got into a lot of trouble for that. We got into a lot of trouble for that. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, I don't even know what the
It
number episode
alternates
that was.
between BW and myself. Either I laugh at the wrong times or Brandy is saying something, BW is saying
I
something
mean, I'm
completely
just trying to-
inappropriate.
I'm just trying
That-
to make you look at it a different way.
But ask if he had with gravy or rice.
I mean, it was a black man.
From Oklahoma, so he should have had something. All right. And what was the other episode we got in trouble for? No, we didn't get in trouble, but we had the biggest argument when we was talking about
Don't even bring it up. The freaking eyes.
Yep, it was the episode from August 31st of 2021.
Why do you
And-
know the episode?
Cause I was completely flabbergasted by your take on this man and the taxidermy at a young age. We're not going to get into that. Go to our TikTok. Go to my TikTok page.
We
which
finna talk
is-
about that again.
No.
The dispute that we had with BW about
That
that.
day. Yes.
We
You guys need to
disputed.
open your minds. Open your mind.
I will repost that to Instagram. It's already on there, but I will repost that just as a refresh so y'all can see what happened during that episode. Then you can go watch the whole thing. So I'll repost that talking about them damn eyes. Let's see here before we go. We got to talk about now. A lot of people won't be familiar with these two people. If you're not either, you're not a part of the religious community or the Black religious community. You might not be familiar with these two. But two very famous evangelists, a big time preacher and a dusty ass singer / evangelist, said some real messed up
Who
stuff.
still hasn't humbled herself.
Dusty ass. Said some real
Yes.
messed up stuff.
Yeah, she really is.
She's just dusty.
We're gonna make
Kim
my
Burrell.
husband laugh.
Kim Burrell got her dusty ass up there, no ankle having ass, and started talking about how you should watch your friends and who you pick as friends, which we all should. I mean, at a certain point in your life, the people that you pick to be in your circle should be solid people. But she's like, ask them how long they've been broke.
Yes.
Do you live in a trailer home or house?
Miss
Do they live in a
PPP
trailer
loan.
home
Miss PPP
or-
loan.
for $22,000.
Miss PPP loan from last year, from when they give out PPP loan. Miss PPP loan herself.
How you
Talking
gonna
about folks
get?
that's ugly.
Now she should have left that one alone.
Like she just
She
didn't get
should've.
gastric sleeve a couple of years ago.
She should have left she should have got some new ankles because I seen that video where she bust her ass.
Yeah, I guess.
Because apparently she wears cheap shoes. I've heard
No,
that a
she
lot,
said
that
she
she wears
don't,
cheap
she
shoes.
don't wear no cheap shoes. My thing is, it wasn't just that she was talking crazy and talking down on the folks that live in trailer parks that fund these churches are usually the poor folks
Forrest.
that are paying their tithe and offerings to these churches. Not only is she talking bad about them, but her first apology was garbage. Like,
Trash.
if I offended you, first of all, you're not really apologizing when you say if. And then the whole second paragraph was basically
Her saying she
threatening
stood behind what she said.
folks for talking about you, but nobody would have talked about you if you hadn't
If you
gotten
hadn't
up in
opened
that
your
fucking
mouth.
mess.
I feel like she was also saying like, well, I still stand behind what I say, but at the same time, if y'all want to say something to me, come to me. And then she lied on the next apology and tried to say that her PR made her do that. And no, they did. No, your
She
PR
said
would have
her
made you say
lawyer, but
something
that
much
none of that writing sound any way from a lawyer where she was
No.
threatening people about her brand and what else did she say? Talking about her brand
She has a brand.
or something else. But she's her lawyer, but I was like, that wasn't any type of legal jargon
No.
or anything.
No.
That was just straight up. Now, even if your lawyer told you that, you would be like, you know what? That doesn't sound like
That don't
very
sound like
much
me,
an
or that
apology.
doesn't sound, yeah. She's raggedy. She's raggedy. But like Randy said, most of the people in church, no matter what kind of church it is, most people in church who pay the tithes, give offering, are the poorest people because they have more reason to have a need to believe, to have faith that things are going to change for them. And then for you to come in and talk down to these people who you wouldn't, that $22,000 that she got from that PPP loan, first of all, you're supposed to be Miss Big Time and you only qualify for 22,000. Okay.
And then second of all, you are Miss Big Time, so why are you qualifying to get or attempting
See,
to
but
get
the
PPP?
people who make the most in gospel music is Kirk Franklin, Donnie McClurkin, and Yolanda Adams. And what they get paid compared to what other artists of other genres make is pennies. So
Yeah.
if Kim Burrell is
Yeah,
not
you're
even in
right.
the top 5 of making money, she ain't making no money.
You're right.
Yeah, raggedy ass. She makes her
You're
money
right.
by making appearances. Now, finally, we're going to talk about Big Jaw TDJ.
Oh, God, Big Joe. Oh, babe.
He had nerve enough to open his mouth on Father's Day, in a Father's Day sermon, and say, we are raising women to be men.
Stop.
And listed some attributes of men being aggressive and all this stuff. We're climbing the corporate ladder. And he also said in that same sermon that if as women, and I'm paraphrasing, that as women, if we don't create a need for the man to feel, what is he supposed to do? I
You
don't
It's
consider
not enough to
that.
just be a mate though.
No, you have to be subservient in all things, basically. That's my take from it, that you have to be subservient in the workplace, at home, everywhere. You have to be not even subservient, you have to be less than. You have to dial yourself down, your success down, your intelligence down, because that less intelligent, less successful man can't compete with you when it should not be a competition. It should be a merger. Should be a merger. But because you don't create, because you got your car, you got your house, you got your education, you go on vacation, since he can't match and go above that, that's you acting like the man. But well, this is two things. Black women are among the most educated and upwardly mobile in this country.
Yeah.
Two, Black women fund the churches. That's who's sitting in them seats. In all these Black churches, that's who's sitting in these seats.
See, this is what they do. They'll put in some truth that, that's actually makes sense and is true, but then they wrap it in a whole bunch of shit. Like, one hand, what you're saying is true, but then that other stuff you putting on it, like, you doing too much. And then he said something about man's self-esteem or something, and about him having his self-esteem when he has to ask his wife for lunch money. And I'm like, how is that her problem that her man feels a certain way about asking lunch money, her for lunch money? Shouldn't that be something that he should rectify? Like, if you don't want to ask your wife for lunch money, maybe you make your lunch, or you find some way to fund your lunch yourself. Like,
right.
It's the woman's fault that her husband has to ask her for lunch money?
Yeah, absolutely. 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 And I will say that this kind of misogynistic rhetoric is not particular to the Black church, because we see TikToks about it. We see, all on social media and also just in general news.
And why was it Father's Day sermon?
Because he said we are raising women to be men. But if the woman is being raised to have a masculine attitude, then that is that man's fault. Because what that says is that man is not providing enough for this girl child for her to be comfortable in her femininity, in her feminine role. That's what that says. So because my dad won't go out and do this, and this, I have to take up his slack. So of course I'm going to have a masculine persona, not necessarily masculine personality, but I'm going to present this way because I had to pick up your slack because you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
And the things he named it when she was trying to be a man, she was being this. I can't remember all the things he was saying when she was climbing up the
aggressive and
so are
there
these
was a lot of negative attributes pointing towards men, not necessarily the women, but the negative attributes were the attributes of the man. So that's
but the
not
thing
a good
you're
look.
dealing with men with those type of attributes, you can't be.
You gotta match it.
You can't be a wallflower, or you won't make it up into those type of jobs.
Those roles. No. You know what? There was a I don't remember what video it was, but it was like a documentary from like the late 60s or 70s or something like that. it had to be the 60s, mid to late 60s. But they were talking to a group of men who were complaining about Black women becoming feminists and getting jobs and being successful in corporate America, that the woman should let the man provide for her whatever he can provide for her. So she should be satisfied with whatever the man can give her, not necessarily. You see what I'm saying? Like if he can only give her, let's equate it to, if he can only put her in a Yugo, but if she works hard enough and she's got a Mercedes, she shouldn't even want that Mercedes because her man can only supply her with the
The
Yugo.
thing
She should
is,
be happy with the Yugo.
they say that once you get married, you become one. And if you're one, who cares who makes the most of whatever? You are one. You're one household. You're in a relationship. Your money is his money. His money is your money. Who cares who makes the most?
And I think for the most part, the very successful Black women that I've encountered and talked to, people say, these women are going to die alone and have a hard time finding men. It's not because they can't find a man, because they're out there, but they can't find a man who is comfortable with not being the top breadwinner in the family. It is something to do with the pride, but they're like, I don't even care about that. Like I've got, like I'm
no education, how far you went, in
right, I
education.
got
You know
this.
how much
Like
money
I've
you
got
make.
all of this. So it's not like she's throwing it in his face or lording it over him. It's, I have this, and like, let's do this. What I need from you is more than money. I need security. I need to feel secure. I need to feel understood. I need to be protected. All of those things. So it's just a mess.
And
It
in
is a mess.
submission is more than, a finance type thing. Submission is natural for women. Women naturally want to feel protected by their men, and submission will come easy to you if the job is being done. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with who got a better car. It has nothing to do with what kind of house can you provide for me. Submission comes because you make me feel this way about you, that I'm already in love. So my natural instinct as a woman and my emotions are to draw to you like a little, just be so in love with you,
And
that I
if I will
just naturally
follow,
submit. So
and the
that
women will follow if you lead.
if you
Women are
lead,
not going
all you gotta
to,
do is lead us. I mean, they don't have to
successful,
be, but
strong women are not
success
going
has nothing
to,
to do with anything, because I can be
no.
successful. You're not gonna stop me to be successful just because you don't know how to lead me. That
Mm-mm.
doesn't know that no.
But
No.
I don't think that most men don't understand what submission is. And what leadership is. You should be submissive. I'm going to be the king of the castle. But who's building the castle? Was the castle here before I got here? Because what I'm not going to do is you're going to be the king of the castle and we got a hut outside. That's not the castle. We both sleeping on the floor. We sleeping on the dirt floor. Was the castle built when I got here? Were you a leader before I got here? If you were a leader before I got here, then that's what attracted me to you. You have a plan for us, but you can't not have a plan for us, but want me to follow you. Where are we going? Where's we going? It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Like, what is we gonna do? And at that point, it's like, if I don't do it, it won't get done because man wants to lead, but he's leading you into disaster. And that's why women act like men. But we'll talk about that amongst ourselves because I got a theory about how men don't like women anyway. But
It don't. They don't.
You ruffle a lot of feathers when you say that, and that's not to say that
It's
I
starting to
think
look that way though.
And I'm not saying that
I
men
just
are
told my sister that. I
that men don't like
literally
women.
just told my sister. I'm starting to feel like they don't like us.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, maybe if someone's listening. I have a theory that there's a period of our lives, in the middle of our lives, where we gravitate towards the opposite sex, because that is a time when we are most productive, like sexually productive, to have children, right? So there's a purpose and a design to that, because that's the natural order of animals. You get together to have children, but even in animals, Animals only gravitate when they can be sexually productive. Other than that, they are among their peers. So when a boy child grows up, he's friends with boys, 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 boys. Those are his emotional support, his playmates, everything. They're emotionally connected until they get to smelling themselves, and then they're physically connected to the opposite sex, but they're still emotionally connected to other boys because they seek approval. A man in his formative years, a man won't even date a girl if his friends don't approve. They will go all out for their friends, but not their girlfriend. They will leave their girlfriend's bed to go and comfort their male friend, not in a sexual way, but emotional support. And then once the mating is done and the children are reared, and these men retire from active services as a father and as a husband, what do? They go right back to their peer groups. And I'm just look at it. When you think old men, when they retire, what do they do? Who do they hang out with? They got fishing buddies, they got golf buddies, we go hunting. They hang around other men. They don't hang around women. Women do the same thing. Old women like to be with other old ass women. They don't, that's why people don't sleep in the same beds when they get old.
Well, some folks, because
That's starting to become now even
Normal.
younger. They don't even want to be in the same rooms. Like they sleep in separate rooms. Like it's starting to
my
become very common.
grandparents slept in the same room all the
Sleeping
time.
in the same
So
room,
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is true for everybody. This is true for everybody,
Right.
but I'm just saying for the most part, if you see it, that's the natural order of things. Like you come together, and this is for both sexes, you come together when you're sexually reproductive because that's the design and the purpose. Other than that, you go where you have emotional support, where you're emotionally connected. Women are more emotionally connected to other women, and men are more emotionally connected to other men. And I'm not saying that there's a sexual attraction there because people are you say men are gay. Not all of y'all, but you are emotionally attracted to other men. And I just don't think that a lot of men are at this point, they're not even trying to hide that they don't like women. You have to have sex with us, but y'all don't like us.
I think part of that because they don't like themselves.
True that. So
Those men
I'm
who
gonna
have that issue.
leave that alone because we can sit there and talk about that, and then we're gonna get into like something else. People gonna complaining, and we're gonna have some alphabet mafia folks after us. We're gonna have hoteps after us, and everything else.
The alphabet mafia.
Yeah. I can't say all them letters together. I always mix them up.
But really quickly though, because you just mentioned that, and I just watched a TikTok on it. Y'all, I love TikTok. He said, and he is a gay man. He said, but the purpose of the actual LGBTQ and beyond is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense because LB, lesbian, bisexual, is still a gay gender, right? G is gay, you're still gay. Trans is still a form of a gay individual in some instances, right? You have
Well, they
queer,
don't
which
believe
is
that, but
in regardless of the matter, it still makes sense. Like, what is the purpose of having so many letters? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have a purpose. That's his quote. Don't come after me. I'm just saying his quote was, what is the purpose of the letters? Because they all pretty much coincide together as queer.
Yeah.
And if Q is already there, then what is the purpose for the other one?
I had this discussion with my daughter about labels and like calling people cisgendered and all this stuff. And most people who are cisgendered are like, what? Why I gotta get a label? Because you got a label. But we'll talk about that because that gets very.
That was really good. I was like, you know what? You're right.
But it wasn't too long ago that nobody, I mean, this is all new stuff. Nobody was doing this, not even 10 years ago, not 20 years ago.
Yeah, old gay people don't even, like even Big Frida, she was talking to a young Slim Thug, and he was like, I never really kicked it with nobody like you and all this stuff. And like he was asking, how do I call you? And he was like, he said a cis,
Brister.
Brista. you know, when I'm with my brothers, I'm bro. If I'm with my sisters, you can call me sister, but you know, I'm still me. And it led on to like, I don't even know these labels. Like this new to me. Like I'm old into this. This is new. This is for the new folks who come into it. So
Ain't that what Clifford
yeah.
said yesterday? He was like, I don't.
I've been getting spoilers. I have not watched an episode since episode 1 because I want to watch it all at one time. Yeah. I'm torturing myself by not watching. Because that's what I did with season 1. I watched all at one time. But I'm seeing the TikToks, I'm seeing the spoilers, and I'm still.
You're gonna have to
interested.
hurry up and stroll when you see a TikTok because they tell it all.
Yeah.
Well, just watch
Yeah.
it from now and catch up until where we are now. It's still a
Yeah,
lot.
the season's almost over, isn't it?
They
I
got,
don't
they
know,
got 2
but
more
you still have
episodes.
enough to watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna start.
Wait a minute. You didn't watch last week's episode? Well, the week before last episode?
She knows what happened though, so she might
I
as well
know
just
what
watch it.
happened.
Well, I mean, it still can't prepare you for what you're gonna see though. It can't
Yeah.
prepare you for it.
I'm gonna watch it.
My sister watched it like the other day, and she was like, even though I knew, it still didn't prepare me for this.
I watched it twice.
Jermaine watched it twice. I asked him, my husband watched it twice, and I asked him this. I said, why the hell are we watching this again? I can't handle that
Because I
again.
missed some of the conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, I told him I'm like, this is too much to watch again.
And Brandy, we'll have to explore this a little bit more, but we have a mutual friend who asked a question or said something about the show. And you asked, what problem did you have with it? I'm very interested to see the answer to that question.
Well, I just saw that it popped up that she mentioned me in a comment. So while we were recording, so we'll see.
Okay. And the question, the statement was that they were going to have to stop watching P-Valley because they're pushing an agenda that they were uncomfortable with. So Brandy asked, what is it that you're uncomfortable with? So I'm very interested to see what that answer is. And if it is what I think it is, it's kind of like,
what it is.
Why did you watch the damn show?
I was like, you know what it is, because you already know what it is.
Because 2 episodes in to the first season, you kind of got an idea of where this was leading to. So yeah. All right, guys, we have talked y'all ear off for tonight. Next week, we are going to go get to the business of the show. We're going to talk about a documentary that we all saw on Netflix called Our Father. It's not next week. Actually, this is what I didn't mention. We're no longer going to be doing our shows every week. We're going to do them every 2 weeks, still airing on Thursdays. And the reason why we're doing it every 2 weeks is because life is busy as shit. And stuff happens, and it's you would think that, it's just easy to say, okay, we got a meeting and we're all going to sit and talk, but it's a lot to rearrange your life, whatever day it is that we're recording, to rearrange your life. And in the middle of that, we got stuff. We are in our, Jackie's not, but we are in our 40s, and we got family in our 40s. We got old parents, we got older grandparents and aunts and uncles. But Jackie, she still understands this because she has older aunts and uncles. Life happens in the middle of all this, so it's really hard to rearrange.
Yeah, mine's been hectic.
Yeah.
So yes.
So, all of our lives have been hectic, which is the reason why we took such a long time to come back. But we're going to do this every 2 weeks. Gives us time to get prepared, gives us time to watch the movies, talk about the subjects. And so we'll do this every 2 weeks, still airing on Thursdays.
So we're talking about Our Father.
We are talking about Our Father from Netflix, and we'll be doing that in 2 weeks.
I saw
so
the second
that
came
episode,
out. I love a good documentary.
And it reminds me of Kidnapped in Plain Sight.
Yeah.
From a while ago.
Yeah.
So our next
it did. Have you seen BW? You already saw BW?
Yeah.
You think so? Kind of? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess. So this episode will air on July 29th, and subsequent episode on August 12th. August 11th. So August 28th and then August 11th. So every 2 weeks. And that also gives the audience some time to come up with some stuff y'all want us to talk about. So we will say goodnight. Enjoy that second cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is. Don't tell me nothing about P-Valley. And we'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.